Good morning and welcome to my kitchen. It is that time of day and I am super excited. Not only have I got some great recipes for you, I've also got a guest. I've got Harrison Ward here, not Ford, Ward, the Fell foodie, who we have known of each other for several years and crossed paths but never cooked together.
That's correct, yeah, so it's time to change that.
So welcome to my kitchen, first of all. It's really great to have you here. I've got two great recipes for you. And we're going to try and get outside. Now, all total transparency, it is pouring down out there. But if we're lucky and we take long enough and we're bad enough on camera that we need to keep editing, the sun will come out and we'll get out and we'll cook the second recipe outside for you. We want to go over to Low Rig and try and cook by the tarn up there. You've not been up to Low Rig, have you? You've probably been past it and you've looked down on it on your adventures. But it's a lovely little walk from where we are here. We'll, fingers crossed, okay? So, hopefully we'll get out. But, first of all, I'm gonna cook some Turkish flatbreads for you. We're gonna wrap them up in foil and hopefully take them out. You like Turkish food?
I do, yeah, delicious. Yeah, that sort of Middle Eastern vibe, yeah, fantastic.
Cool, right, okay, so I've got a hot pan on here. And we're gonna get this going. Now, it's based around lamb, so very Turkish inspired. What do you think, Emily? You like a bit of Turkish lamb? I've told you about the Turkish restaurant in Cockermouth loads, haven't I? Have you been?
I haven't, no.
Oh, it's good. If you're ever this way, there is a lovely Turkish restaurant in Cockermouth. I can't remember its name. Maybe Emily can Google it while we're filming. It's delicious. So, and if you can't get there, make this. So, I've got some lamb burgers, all right? And we're just going to use them because they're already seasoned. Now you could use up leftover lamb if you wanted to, you know, and just shred it up and it's obviously already cooked, so it won't take as long. So I'm just gonna break it up and it's good for extras. Like you could cook this bit and take it out on the fells, which I know is your thing, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah, I love to get out there really and sort of try and prepare meals from scratch in the mountains, taking in those views. So, yeah. And again, this part of the world, I mean, what better ingredient than lamb? I mean, we've got them all in the fields out there, haven't we?
It's the best place to cook outside. It really is. So I'm going to season this up. So, where's all the cooking come from then? Because you're not a chef, are you?
I'm not. No, completely self-taught. Yeah, absolutely. So I think for me it was more sort of my grandmother growing up sort of put me to work. I was the oldest of all the sort of cousins and siblings, so I wasn't allowed to sort of sit there and be idle. And again, back in those days, I guess even, as well, you all know too, I mean, no sort of video games that to play at the time, so it was there very much on the stove, put to work, and really sort of fell in love with it and how it just brought people together around the table sort of vibes.
Cubs, Scouts, that sort of thing as a kid?
I wasn't, no. I did have a brief spell at Beavers, I think the one that preludes it all.
I don't think there was Beavers when I was a kid, so...
But that was only for maybe a couple of week sessions, but very much just at home. My grandmother, again, she was quite churchy as well, so cooking for the parish sort of thing, so I didn't get taken as, I guess, the token grandson, and be there cooking and initially baking at first, but yeah, just loved sort of how different cuisines really brought different cultures together, and just started becoming a bit of a scholar in food, really, watching the cooking programmes and books galore as a child.
Right, very good. I think we met at Graftonmere Gingerbread, didn't we?
We did indeed, yeah.
You used to work for them, didn't you?
Yeah, I remember you coming in that day, Peter. And I was
love a bit gingerbread. I do love it. I must go down and see Andrew and Joanne.
It's fantastic stuff, isn't it? I mean, it's it's certainly, it was in the contract. You could have as much as you like whilst you worked there, so that was a bit difficult. I mean, it certainly kept the gym motivation high at the time. But need a bit more of that again now, I think. It's been quite an indulgent winter.
Right, so minced lamb cooking away. Now, Turkish food for me isn't necessarily hot and spicy, it's more fragrant. So I've gone with Nigella seeds, which are very savoury. Some people call them onion seeds. Then we go cumin, which for me is very aromatic and heady, and you know, it's not a hot spice at all. And then I've got clove of garlic, and then we're just going to chop. It's a decent sized clove of garlic. I like my garlic.
Absolutely.
Keeps the neighbours away. Right. So we're going to get that cooking down, a good high heat. Now, If you like the sound of this recipe and you fancy cooking it, please do scan the QR code on the bottom. It will take you to masterclass.co website. You will find this recipe there, along with, I think we might be around episode 70 now. Amazing. So we've been at this, what, a year and a half of solid production of videos now. It feels like we've been at this a while, doesn't it, Emily?
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely.
That random idea, let's go live, let's make a TV show, you know. But anyway, so once those spices hit the pan, that's when you can really start to smell everything that's going on. Red onion, next. I'm actually going to do this in 2 ways, okay? So first, red onion half. I'm using a red onion because it's kind of sweeter, it's milder. It means it's about the lamb, it's not about the onion.
Yeah, nice bit of colour through that as well, isn't it? With the
chop it nice and fine. So nearly over 70 episodes, I still haven't cooked myself live yet. Not bad, not bad.
Jinxed it now.
I say, jinxed it now, Pete.
Not bad.
That'll be me later. Show me with your chefy knife skills. I'll do my best.
Carlos will be editing in some massacre of a finger. Okay, so we get the onion in there. We get those flavours. Whoa, smells good that now. And then fruit. So we're going to go in with apricots, okay? And then I've got some raisins as well. So you get lamb and fruit. I don't know about you, I think they work incredibly well together, especially with this sort of flavour profile. So in with our raisins, and then apricots, rough chop. Don't need to be too fine with the chop at all. Now also remember, if you have any questions either for me or Harrison, please do post them in the comments below. When you're watching this, hopefully Harrison will be sat commenting as well, you see, so we'll be virtually there by the power of technology. But in the meantime, you'll have to put with my questions. So you've been out and about, obviously. I know your story, and I know you come very much the fells. You've ended up in the fells, haven't you, from a sort of a mental health point of view, lifestyle.
Definitely. Getting
out in the fresh air and really doing what you love doing, don't you? And I don't want to dwell too much on the sort of the mental health side of it, because I think you're on a journey, aren't you? And
of course.
You've made life changes and you're loving it, aren't you?
100%.
Which I think is brilliant. And I'm not a big dweller on the past. I just think, do you know what? That's awesome. Let's do it. Which is why I thought it'd be great to get you in the kitchen. And great to get in your kitchen, which is out there. and ironically, it's kind of funny for me looking back at it. Like my first TV programme 12, 13 years ago is a bit like what you're doing now and getting out on the fells. 12, 13 years ago, I was out there cooking on the fells, and I did the first Keswick Mountain Festival, and I stuck a 50-seater restaurant on top of Skiddaw for some random reason. Don't know why, but I did. And it was mental, but it was such an achievement. So, yeah, I went up on Skiddaw for the first mountain festival, Keswick Mountain Festival. It was this idea, myself and a couple of customers of mine, and when I had a cafe in town, had this idea, we put a 50-seater restaurant up there. And we got these big Himalayan dome tents. And Martin Campbell, do you remember Martin? He lived in Grasmere. I've
come across him, yeah. I've never met him, of course, before.
Fortunately, he's passed away now. And very sadly, his son died doing a marathon.
That's right.
Maybe 3 years ago.
It will be now.
And there was a big campaign to finish his marathon for him. It was amazing, it really was.
I actually ran part of that as well.
Did you?
Down Windermere, yeah. The last sort of few bits back to Brafe. It was a great occasion.
Amazing, amazing. It gives you a real sense of sort of humanity's there, and it can be good as well. And I thought it was really good. But Martin captured it all on camera. It's on YouTube. You should go and see it. It's bonkers, really. But that
must have been a big rucksack.
There's a lot of equipment went up there.
Imagine.
Luckily, we had some little golf caddies, like 4x4 ones that the farmers used to get all over.
Yeah.
We loaded it all up, and these big dome tents. It was amazing.
I know helicopters
dinner. But the beautiful thing about it was beautiful up there. I mean, how many times I'm sure you've gone up a mountain to cook, get to the top, and you cannot see a thing.
No.
But it was beautiful that day, and it was just so bright and blue sky. You could see Scotland, you could see the South Lakes, everything. It was amazing. If you get up to Skiddaw and it's clear, you're lucky. Go buy a lottery ticket. Okay, so what's happened here is the lamb's cooked down, the fruit's gone in, the fruit has then, because it's dry, it's started to just suck up the flavours and it's become really succulent. The apricots in particular are going to work really, really well in there. So while that's going, I thought we would make a sort of a tomato salad, very Turkish inspired, which is simple red onion, raw. So we'll just slice this up. Keep my fingers.
You said it now.
I know. Well, I keep very sharp knives. We use edge keeper knives, which are from Masterclass, and they've got this little sheath, and that little bit there sharpens them.
Oh,
so every time you put it away, so on this one, it sharpens it. Every time you put it back,
that's fantastic, isn't it?
So when chefs will always say, when you've got a sharp knife, you're much safer because it's effortless. And you're not working against the knife is there to work with you. And that's why you're safer, in my opinion, with a sharper knife. So, right, in with our red onion. And then the juice of half a lemon is just going to pickle the red onions a little bit and just take that raw edge off it and make it more sort of tangy. A little bit of olive oil. And we'll just put that to one side. Now, I've been in Booths today, which is my local supermarket, and they're starting to get some of these nice heritage tomatoes now, which I love because they've always got so much more flavour in.
Yeah.
So this is San Marzano. So they haven't got loads of water in these, which is great because with water, it dilutes flavour. So there's only that little bit just to get rid of because all I want to taste is the tomato. So we'll get rid of those bits. We'll chop those. What's your favourite food to cook out in the hills?
So it really varies. I tend to cook for a lot of people, so I really just love sort of the impact it has on people having that, bringing around that camping stove sort of vibe and seeing how they take it in, especially after a long walk. But cuisine-wise, I guess, I love this sort of Turkish vibe, but Greek food tends to be my sort of favourite. So similar flavour profiles and things in there. But
and have you ever hit your limit on trying to cook something outside? I have. 100%. I'm just wondering if you have.
Yes, 100%. I think generally it's the weather that plays that part for me. I think there's been a couple of times where I've maybe bitten off more than I can chew. I've gone up there in particularly maybe poor conditions and I've really been fighting it, or maybe having some mishaps with the stove or various bits. But yeah, I've cooked all bits out there, even sort of from baking sort of breads and focaccias to cakes out there on top of the mountains. To sort of pasta from scratch.
Bake out on the fells as well?
I have done, yes. I've got a little sort of stovetop convection oven that's a real sort of game changer. I've done things like toad in the hole on there as well, in the mountain tops. Taking those views below, again, hiking it all up there on the backpack and just sort of sitting there and spending the time in nature and just taking it in really. And what a mindful practice. It must be much better
on the way back because you're less to carry, yeah?
Yeah, and even when there are groups of people, they don't tend to offer to carry much of the weight, but yeah, much better on the way down.
So do you actually guide people up for experiences now? Is that what you're doing a lot of?
No, not such. No, I don't do much of the sort of private things. I was in hospitality for a long while through sort of my teenage and early sort of adult years, and really I'm not looking to go back into that side. About 14 years in that sort of trade. So currently it's just sort of me. It was very hobby based at first, but now it could be, I guess, more peers out there, various bits out. Sometimes just friends, family, various brands, and various bits out there.
Do some more team corporate work and things like that with
some
people,
corporate team building and stuff as well, team with other people.
Yeah.
There's been some PR events and stuff as well, so that's quite nice to get out there. But generally larger groups rather than more of a private dine for a couple. I haven't got my mountain leader sort of accreditation either at this current stage. So legally, insurance-wise, I wouldn't have the bit to guide people out there in case anything happened, of course. This day and age, you've got to cover those things, haven't you?
I know, I see.
Just like those fingers with that knife, I bet they're insured, are they?
No, not at all. Not even a little bit.
Oh, man.
So tomatoes, red onion. I've got lemon juice and olive oil in there. A little season. So that's going to give us a real fresh flavour. And then to make it quite distinctive, we'll add a couple more things. So I've got fresh parsley here. Emily, you're very quiet today.
No.
No questions?
I'm trying to think.
Oh,
it's not working today.
Usually we've got like all sorts of questions.
It's almost going down a bit of a pico de gallo route, is it? Or Mexican cuisine in there as well. And I love those sort of fresh salsas that you got.
It's really the freshness of it we're adding now. And the great thing about this is you could just whack this in a tub, put it in your rucksack, and you could make this out in the fells if you wanted to.
Yeah.
No problem. Right, so we'll just put that to one side. I've got one more ingredient to add. I'm just wiping my chopping board because we like to be tidy as we go, don't we, Emily?
Yep.
I have people watching me who have acknowledged how tidy I am, haven't they?
Yeah.
Right. Okay, that is pretty much cooked, which is good news. Right, last thing, rose, dried rose petals. This is what really gives it a much more distinctive Turkish vibe. So I've just got 3 I'm going to put in. You don't want to put too many, that was a little one, so otherwise it tastes like Grandma's potpourri.
Do you find those easy to source then in Cumbria, those rose petals? Or?
No.
No?
So a little bit of more Nigella seed in there, and that's it. That is going to be our Turkish sort of salad. So if you're making this at home, you would kind of just get it all done, put it to one side, and it's done. I've also got some yogurt there I'm going to serve with it. Push that out of the way. And we're going to leave the lamb to one side, and we're going to get some bread dough out. Now, I've made bread dough in advance because I have shown you so many times how to make bread. But if you are not sure how to make it, scan the QR code along the bottom. It will take you to masterclass.co website. The recipe is there, and I've also got a video as well for you, just guiding you visually on how to make good bread dough. Right, so now you've watched that, you'll have one of these, all right? So, you might be able to get you some of these Space Saver bowls. They're really good.
They look
So
great.
they all fit inside each other. They're lightweight. They can go in your rucksack if need be. They're very, very useful. So, let's get a little bit of flour on the go, and we'll get some flatbreads. So you bake a bit of bread, do you?
Yeah, bits about, yeah, some
Yeah.
little bits out there. So I've done a few in the hillside as well as at home, but flatbreads are one of my go-tos. I love those
Yeah.
in their little pan.
Bread's great for carrying
Yeah.
food. I love it. Okay, so we're going to use pizza base. Okay, so this is crusty bake from Masterclass. It's perforated, got holes in it, which means your base will cook through. And particularly when you're adding ingredients like this, you want to make sure air gets underneath so it crisps up. Okay, so this is a very simple dough. I've enriched it with a little bit of oil so it stays pliable. And you can kind of see the strands. I'm just going to fold it inside itself, over and over. This is a 500 gram flour batch.
Move it a little bit closer to the pan, please.
Yeah, about there.
There we go, perfect.
Okay, so we'll dust it with a little bit of flour. So this, for me, will easily make 4. So all I tend to do is just tear it in half, tear it in half, tear it in half. And always start with the shape you want to finish with. So we want a round, we finish with a round. If you're using a square tray, try and get it a bit more angular, you'll never get it square, but you want it a bit squarer, okay? So we work the middle of the dough first so that we push the outside, and then take your fingers and your thumbs and you just run it through. Because if you've forgotten your rolling pin when you're up a mountain, you need to work out what else you can use.
A water bottle comes in quite handy.
Yeah. Wine bottle I tend to find works very well.
Those days are past by days.
That's enough.
So what's on the horizon then, Harrison? For you, what's happening?
Yes, I've got a few bits out and about. I'm travelling up the length of the breadth of the country, doing
Yeah.
a few festivals, a few appearances that way, just showing my sort of camp stove cooking.
Yeah.
It's always a bit ironic, I find, when you do some of these demos, outdoor cooking and you're inside a tent, but it's one of those. But generally out and about. Again, summertime's coming as well, so I'll be out in the fells a lot more, experiencing that weather.
Yeah.
Trying to get up sort of some of the high ones in Scotland and stuff as well.
Oh, okay.
Just out there sort of cooking and increasing that recipe repertoire,
What's
really.
your favourite mountain?
Difficult one to say. I think it always depends on,
Is that?
again, the people, the experience, perhaps the weather at the time, the
So
views.
if you were going to go for a walk right now, where are you going to go?
Yeah.
Last walk before you drop off this mortal coil. What's it going to be?
If it was today, I think we'd be going somewhere a little bit lowland. I mean, there's not going to be many views at the top today. It's quite overcast, but I mean, the first one I ever did was Blencathra. It was a real sort of baptism of fire up there, living that sort of previous lifestyle. But that was the first one I did, so that was always hold good memories for me. But view-wise, I'd probably say somewhere like Fleetwith Pike in Buttermere. I mean, those views from the top over. Yeah, Buttermere.
I like Red Pike.
Fantastic, exactly. I mean, it's a beautiful sort of area, that really. But we're so spoiled here in the Lake District, I think, in all avenues to, I mean, you'd be happy with most, I think, if it was the last one you replaced there. I think you wouldn't have many complaints.
No, there's some good ones up there, definitely. So how many of the Wainwrights have you done? Are you bagging them or not?
I have been. I wasn't at first. It was only when I sort of met other people in sort of the outdoor space and they started telling me your number all the time that I thought I'd have a count up. But for me, it's all really been about just enjoying them as they go. I've not really been a slave to the list at any point, but I have counted these days. I'm on a sort of about 180 out of 214. So
you're on the home straight,
I'm getting there. Well, yeah. I mean, I did plan to finish it before my 30th birthday, but we're coming up for 32 this year, so we'll see. I'm a bit behind on that.
So you're behind on schedule, eh?
I am a little bit, but yeah. I mean, again, I'm not taking things that way, ticking them off as they come, But it gets you to different areas of the lakes, which is fantastic, and experiencing all these different views and bits as you're there. So hopefully by the end of the year we'll get.
What's eluded you so far, mountain-wise?
So I guess being located in Ambleside, it's mainly been the ones that are further away. So it's mainly the far eastern fells that you've got to sort of drop the other side of Ullswater, or even sort of on the M6 Shap side.
I was at Ullswater yesterday, actually.
Lovely spot, isn't it? And again, sort of more up this way, sort of Cockermouth sort of fells, really. So again, central's all done, south's done, the northern fells I've done as well, sort of again. Yeah. Just aside from here, but yeah, the ones that are further away to drive to, basically.
Right, so while we were chatting, what I've done is I've just rolled out my pizza base, my Turkish flatbread. I've just put a little amount of the lamb on there with the fruit. Don't be tempted to overfill it. If you overfill it, it won't cook. And people, you know, pizza is one of my massive passions. I love it. Proper Neapolitan pizza, and the mistake everybody makes is they overload them. They put too much stuff on it. You know, just a little amount of mozzarella, a little bit of tomato. It's always with the Italian sort of way, it's like the best possible quality. You don't need loads of it. And I think that's the same with this. So all I'm going to do is just add a little olive oil, and then that is going to go straight into the oven. Okay, and we will let that cook. It's probably going to take about 10 to 15 minutes. We will cut straight back to when it's cooked while I make some more of these. Okay, right, this flatbread is just looking cooked. The key is not to overcook it as well, Harrison, because we're going to roll this up. Yeah. Because we want to enjoy it out in the hills, go for a walk. So what I'm going to do is take some foil. Now I'm reusing this foil actually. So I'm just going to do 1.5 pieces, slightly overlap it, because we want our flatbread to fit. Just give it a little lift. There we go. Okay.
Smelling good.
So there's a few little things to do. Lemon. Get the lemon on now. It'll make all the difference, I promise you. Yeah. I don't want to get it too close to you, Emily. You'll eat it.
You know me so well.
So we've got lemon juice in our salad, but these are the little extra tips. These are the chefy bits. You know, lemon juice now means you just get this burst of freshness and acidity. So you drip it on now, okay? And then you take your salad, so this is the freshness. So if you're just eating this now, you don't have to go up a mountain. We are, but you don't have to. This will make the most incredible flatbread that you can just chop up, serve up, and enjoy. But the only difference we're going to do today is we are going to roll it up. So you get really fresh flavours, okay? So that for me is done. And then we would serve this up, off we go, happy days. You would be pretty pleased if you got served that. But what we're going to do is we're going to try and roll it up and take it on the fells. So we roll like this, and the warmth will just bring everything together. So we're almost on a Turkish burrito, if you like, now. So wrap it up in foil, and then just twist the ends, okay, like so. Turn it, and twist the ends there, and that means it won't fall apart in your rucksack, which is quite important when you're going, isn't it? But it will keep really warm as well, because we've got double layered foil. It'll be absolutely perfect. If you've got a little container for some Greek yogurt, that would be even more amazing, just to dip it in. That would really top it. And what I would also take with me is half a lemon to squeeze into the centre, again for more hit. But that is how you make the most delicious Turkish flatbreads. I am going to pack up the rucksack. We're going to hit the road, aren't we? And try and get up the fells and try and enjoy this. And we'll try and do a bit more cooking as well. Seems like a good place. I've been up here before and it's just such a good place.
It's beautiful, isn't
to
it?
sit and eat. Little town, like you get the whole 360 panoramic. Right, Turkish flatbreads.
I'm ready for these.
Turkish flatbreads. It's going to have to go there, Emily, because otherwise it slides. In fact, you hold that.
Yeah.
Let's get one of these. As I promised you, yogurt and fresh lemon.
Fantastic. All the stops.
Oh yeah. Just because you're outside doesn't mean you shouldn't enjoy it. Right, let me grab a knife. And let's shift that over there out of the way. So, let's cut one of these flatbreads in half for you. Oh, look at that, Emily. It's like being in a kebab shop. There you go.
Thank you, sir.
Right, you've got to have half a lemon. There you go.
Thank you.
And yogurt to dip. I think Emily and Carlos will want that one. Can you see that, Emily? You've got to get the lemon juice in the centre. It's the game changer. And then a little bit of yogurt on there. Who'd have thought you could have a kebab in such a good place?
Perfect to me. Speaking my language.
Nice and warm still. Lovely. I'm going in.
Say the word. Well, that fruit's coming through really well, isn't it?
That is such a good dish. Honestly, if you want to cook this recipe, scan the QR code along the bottom. It'll take you to masterclass.co. You will get the recipe there. Whether you eat this, take it out in the fells or down the park, whatever, it doesn't matter. Eat it at home in your garden. It's such a good recipe. Please make sure you cook it. Harrison, thank you so much for joining me. Cheers. Here's to good kebab.